My conscious decision to merge imagination and reality. There is so much more out there than meets the eye. The problem is that most people are only using their eyes. If you open up and use your third spiritual eye, and if you realize that imagination is just as important as reality, and can be just as real as reality, then you will open up and be able to experience things for real that only your wildest dreams and imagination can conceive. Understanding that the real fact of life is that dreams and imagination create reality. Opening up your imagination is opening up your reality. I made the conscious decision many years ago to merge my imagination and reality. What happens when you make this decision and truly believe that imagination is just as real as reality? Then your reality becomes absolutely anything you can imagine and is no longer just imagination. It is real. It is very easy to merge imagination and reality. All you need to do is believe that imagination and reality can become the same thing. After that, all you need to do is superimpose your imagination upon reality. Let me give you an example. If you are in the garden and looking at a beautiful flower, you can actually dive into the flower, slide down the petals into the center of the flower. And what I usually find when I'm in the middle of the flower is a beautiful little fairy playing piano. What I like to do is sit next to the beautiful little fairy playing piano in the center of the flower and listen to the beautiful music that she creates. Obviously, in order to slide down into a flower, you need to make yourself tiny like a little fairy, otherwise you won't fit into the flower. See yourself inside the flower. Turn your head and look at the beautiful little fairy playing piano. Give her a smile and she will smile back at you. Enjoy the music, enjoy the moment. I actually like to create in my imagination and therefore believe that it is beautiful little fairies that watch over and maintain all the plants. Sometimes I like to see them, hundreds of them, flying around all of the foliage, the grass, the flowers, the trees, anything that grows out of the ground, the fairies watch over and maintain. If you choose to see them, then you will see them. They really are beautiful. It's amazing the way they fly around the flowers watching over them. All the plants become so much more beautiful when you realize that they are fairies watching over all the plants. It just so happens that all the fairies live inside the plants. There is a beautiful enchanted tree in my garden where there are many fairies living all inside the same tree. The tree is literally full of little homes for beautiful little enchanted creatures. I love to shrink myself until I am the size of a fairy. I like to be polite, so I knock on the door of the tree, and a little fairy that I know very well opens the door for me and lets me in. I know most of the fairies living inside the tree. They are all very friendly. There is a staircase in the center of the tree where you can climb to the very top of the tree. On my way up the staircase, I visit some of my friends inside the tree. The most amazing thing is that once you get to the top of the tree, there is a slide that you can slide back down to the bottom of the tree after visiting all my friends. Next time you are in nature, don't even look with your eyes. Just feel with your heart and open up to all the energies blowing on the wind. You don't even need to see the fairies to know that they are there. You can feel them the moment you step into nature. Once you know they are there, you can choose to see them. There are lots of fairies living in the trees. I think they put a lot of care into making sure that the energy in nature is always very, very good. The energy of fairies is such a pure energy. Lots of fairies really enjoy to make their homes inside the flowers. Sometimes there are many fairies living inside the same flower. They are very social. It is so important to realize that if you choose to create that all this is real, then it becomes real. And you can take it a step further. What if you were to believe that the fairies are so real that they all have their own minds and consciousnesses? My previous writing was called Hugging the World. Let's create that these beautiful little fairies that take care of the plants are also taking care of the entire planet. In my previous writing, Hugging the World, I wrote about how I would love to fly into space and hug the world whilst beaming the most beautiful, purest, loving, healing energy into the world. I believe that because I believe that when I hug the world and beam the most purest, loving energy into the world, that just the act of this imagination, which through belief becomes reality, I am actually in real life doing as much as I can to heal the energy of the world. I believe that all the billions of fairies living in the plants are putting all their energy into healing the world and making the energy of the world as beautiful and pure as it can be. There is even a fairy sitting on the moon watching over our planet. She is constantly beaming the most purest loving energy over our beautiful little world. There is absolutely no limit to how far you can take this. When you create your reality to become that dreams and imagination and reality are all the exact same thing, everything is just so much more fun and enjoyable. When you realize that it all becomes real, then there simply aren't any words to describe how amazingly beautiful and magical reality becomes. Make it your conscious decision to see how far you can take this. My conscious decision of merging imagination and reality happened more than 10 years ago, and I can actually tell you that there is no limit to how far you can take this. Be careful, however. If you are telling people about this, it is very important that you make sure that everyone understands that it is a conscious decision to merge imagination and reality. If you fly away on the wings of a butterfly, just make sure you don't land in the loony bin. More than 10 years ago, I would enjoy doing this so much that I even wrote many articles with the title, Getting to Heaven Without Dying. I enjoyed my newfound abilities to merge imagination and reality so much that I would think of what I had learned to experience to me as being in heaven. There is no limit to this. Next time you are in nature, simply climb into a ship and sail away into the sky. There are no limits to where your dreams and imagination can take you.